The goal is for you to find a way to start earning in dollars. But if you earn in naira, invest in naira. Naira investments are quite good, right? Invest in naira, but also maybe convert a little portion of it to dollars as well. I invested 1,130,000 naira into the stocks of a company in January 2023. My 1 million became 18 million naira within 1 year. So they are still very good naira investment. You just need to do your research. You should do everything in your power to run away from consumption debt. Some people borrow money to pay their rent. It is not a good thing to do. My wife now, if she borrows money from, she can't sleep at night. So that kind of person should not be borrowing to invest.
Hello and welcome to Wealth Diaries by Rich Auntie. My name is Sarah Samuel Amana, and on Wealth Diaries we're going to be answering your questions about money, basically to help you get better with money. And on this series we're going to be taking 50 of your pressing questions about money. And today with me I have Mr. Sheyi Abiodun to help shed more light on the pressing issues Nigerians have at this point in time, especially given the economic challenges we're going through, inflation, fuel subsidy removal, and all that. So we have him here. Thank you for joining me on set today.
Thank you for having me, my dearest Rich Auntie. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So we're going to dive right into it. You're a personal finance and finance expert, and I've watched you over time. I've seen what you do, and you're very relatable. People send you questions, you answer questions, and then I thought it would be good to have you first. My first question for you today is, should I keep my money in Naira or USD?
Okay, so it really depends on what your income is. What currency are you earning in? Right, because it's always very, cumbersome. You converting your naira first to dollars before you now invest it. So I would say you can think of investing in naira first, but you should also do some USD investment as well. But you must understand that the goal is for you to find a way to start earning in dollars. But if you already earn in dollars, or you earn in pounds, or you earn in euros, it is better that you invest in foreign currency. But if you earn in naira, invest in naira. Naira investments are quite good, right? Invest in naira, but also maybe convert a little portion of it to dollars as well. But the ultimate goal, like I said, is create a structure to ensure that you earn in dollars.
Okay. But some people might disagree with that, seeing that naira keeps devaluing every day, and converting your naira to dollar means that you're storing it in a higher how will I put it now? Higher value, whereby by the time you convert it back to naira, you have much more. Don't you think?
Yeah, that's one way to look at it. Let me give an example. It also depends on the asset class that you're investing in.
Okay.
I use myself as an example. I invested 1,130,000 naira into the stocks of a company in January 2023.
Okay.
In January 2024, 1 year after, the value of my stock had gone to 18 naira per unit, meaning my 1 million became 18 million naira within 1 year. So they are still very good naira investment. You just need to do your research.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for that answer. Spot on.
Thank you.
Okay, my second question is, how do I manage my debts more effectively? So you borrow money. How do you manage the monies you've borrowed? Is becoming overwhelming and all that. So how do you manage it well?
First off, you should do everything in your power to run away from consumption debt. So there are two kinds of debt. We have consumption, which I also like to call bad debt.
Okay.
That's the one you spend on rent. Some people borrow money to pay their rent. It is not a good thing to do.
Okay.
Right? You should rent within your income. Some people borrow money to buy a shoebi. That's a no-brainer. You shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
So for any money you are borrowing to spend that wouldn't add value to you now or in the future is consumption debt.
Okay.
The other debt is leverage or good debt. That's when you now take on debt to invest or in an asset or something that brings back money into your pocket, right? So if you are going to go into any form of debt, ensure that it is leverage,
Okay.
the good kind of debt. Even at that, you also need to look at what you're earning, your income vis-a-vis the cost of debt. So when you take 10 million naira at 10%, that 10% is called cost of debt. What is costing you? So if I want to do a business with 10 million naira and I'm supposed to pay back 20%, meaning I'm supposed to pay back 12 million naira, that business should give me minimum of 14 million. So by the time I remove the principal and interest, I still have something left. So that is why when you are taking on debt, your repayment is not only the primary consideration. You want to look at your own income. You want to look at what you're going to get from it. It's a lot, right? So perhaps you are even in debt today. You are in consumption debt that you have found yourself in. What are the things that you learn you can do to come out of debt? Practically, 5 things that I can suggest. Number 1 is family and friends. Okay. You are not alone. You were created into a family for a purpose. You need to speak to your family and friends, get all the help you can get out of there. 2, convertible assets. What are the things that you have that you can easily sell off to pay? I've been in debt before. I used to have 3 lands. I sold them to pay the debt. I used to have 2 cars. I sold one to pay the debt. I used to have a lot of clothes. Debt is not a good thing because I couldn't sleep. I became, my wife couldn't get the best of me. My children could not. Daddy would just be angry. Why? Daddy is in debt. So you must do everything in your power to get out of debt. Convertible assets. Second thing. Third thing you can do to get out of debt is negotiate with your creditors. Talk to them. Bankers are also human beings. Explain situation. What people do is you're owing someone and the person is calling you. You are hiding. You don't want to pick up your phone. Pick up your phones and talk to them. Giving you 3, I'll give you 2 later.
Okay, thank you. But from what you said, are you now saying that I can borrow money? Because that's one of the questions I got. Can I borrow money to invest?
Of course you can. If you have done your mathematics well. That's why I said you need to understand that there are 3 levels of investment. There is low risk investment, medium risk investment, high risk investment. You cannot borrow. Let me talk like a Nigerian, because like someone who understands the market that we're in. You should ideally not borrow for medium risk or high risk assets, because you can lose the money. What it means is you can lose the money, and it's not your capital, it's someone else's money, right? You shouldn't be borrowing for those 2 classes. But for low risk, if you think about it, money market in Nigeria currently pays 20%. A lot of them, the money market I have pays me 21% per annum. So if I get a debt, there are some companies that offer their staff single digits loan. I get a loan of 10 million, I'm only paying back 2% or 5%, and I can invest it and get 20%. Of course, that's a good thing to do. However, you also need to understand that there is a mindset thing that comes with loan, with debt, right? That whole thing of a borrower is subject to the lender. You also want to be, and you also need to look at the kind of person you are. There are some people, like my wife now, if she borrows money from, she can't sleep at night. So that kind of person should not be borrowing to invest. So understand your own person and how you think about these things.
Okay, so basically you're saying you can actually borrow to invest.
Yes.
But you need to know what you're investing in.
Excellent.
Most times it should be low risk investment, not mid or high risk investment.
Perfect.
Take calculated financial decisions. Basically, that's what you're saying.
Yes, that's it.
Beautiful. So my next question is, how can I increase my income without a formal job? So you're not a 9 to 5 or a 8 to 4 person working. You don't have a job, a formal job where
you have a business.
But you have a business. Business too could be formal in a way, but it's not. The job does not really bring in all the time. Okay. Does not bring in income all the time. It's not really that stable. Like I would say, you don't get monthly income.
Okay, so let me be practical. Let me be practical with this question, right? Yeah. So I run a business. I won't take it from the angle of someone who runs a business, and the business is seasonal, right? Okay. Maybe you sell today, you don't sell tomorrow. So how can you scale your income? The first thing you need to think about is, what are the business opportunities that are in your business? I have a friend who runs a garden, a garden restaurant in Abuja here. And then we looked at her business and we started thinking of other things that she could potentially do. I saw that she has this expanse of land, that is useless. And we thought about it. And her business only sells in the night, because from 4 o'clock till 12 a.m., that is when the bulk of our customers come. I said, okay, what are you doing in the morning? You can't do anything. Can we get businesses that can use your premises around the hours that you're not active? And then we started getting businesses. We got someone to make suya for the night as well, because she has a space outside. We got someone to make breakfast in the morning, all the akara and all the pap. She does that in the morning. Then we got someone else. Then at a point in time, she got another person that does paint and sip in another part of that business. So now she's landlord, even though that space is rented. Right? She's been able to maximize the space that she has. So that's one way to look at the business opportunities available for you. The other way, of course, I'm always a man for invest, right? The little money that you have, in the days that you have plenty, invest. You can invest in money market. Money market is my favorite because it pays you monthly salary. I have some of the money markets that I have pays as much as 1 million per month. Think about it, getting 1 million per month from this source, another 1 million from this source, another 1 million from this source on a monthly basis. Of course, you must put plenty money, of course.
Yes.
So those are the opportunities available. There are several investment opportunities as well.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you for that answer. So my next question is, this question, even me, I have my bias to it. So the question is it better to buy or rent a house in Nigeria? Over there abroad is a different ball game altogether that people do not know.
Okay.
Right? And people are always, in Nigeria, people are always on the side of, it's better you build a house first and not rent. If you are renting a house in Nigeria, it's like you're not a serious human being. True. You do not have your own house. What are you saying? You're earning this and you do not have your own house. So we have that. So which do you think is better in Nigeria? We're not talking America now. We're talking Nigeria.
So why our system is, because our mortgage system is not all that good.
Exactly.
Right? You cannot get good mortgage here. Right? I would advise people, if you have the funds, right? Maybe you are still in your 20s, in your 30s. As a matter of fact, that's what I tell my mentees. People in their 20s and 30s. Build your house. Okay. But don't build a living property.
Good.
Build rental property.
Exactly.
Airbnb, short let, resorts, hotels. Build rental property. So invest. Do it. Right? You can. I have people that have properties in eyebrow areas, but are still tenants in other places. Right. Example: a friend of mine inherited a property in Ikoyi, and then he looked at it. What is the rental value in Ikoyi? I can really get the same apartment, the same kind of apartment. I'll just rent out this place. Out of that money, less than 20%. With 20% of that money, I can get another apartment in Yaba or other part of the mainland. So while that is there, so that's the way to think. I do not think people should not build their houses. I only think build rental properties as opposed to living property, because living property is actually liability. Yes. Right. Yes. Because the moment you move into the house, there'll be repairs that you need to spend money on. Right. So you need to factor that.
So very important, because that's what I keep telling people too. It's better you build a rental property first, then live in your rented apartment. By the time you've grown to a level, you can now have your own apartment. But people seem to. So thank you for that answer, right? The next question is, how do I save for my children's education? I get these questions a lot. How do I save for my children's education? Do you start before? Do you start after? When is the best time to start? And all that.
Okay. Regardless of where you are, the best time to start saving for your children's education is now. So if you have not started doing it before, the best time to start investing, or any kind of investing, the best time to start is now. So that said, right, for people the best time to really start is when the child is giving birth to. You can start to plan, right? When they give you in Yoruba, when you give birth, they give you, from the naming ceremony, people actually give you money.
Yes.
Okomo, it's called the komo, the naming, owo that they give you. You're supposed to use that money to open an account
for the child,
and then it becomes the child's money, right? So you can use that, you can leverage that. Two vehicles I like to tell people to use, two vehicles for saving for your children's education: education insurance or education trust. Those are the two primary vehicles that you can use to save. How do they work? Education insurance is more like a cover that just in case anything happens to you. You've heard cases where people will say that I didn't go to school because I lost my dad at a point. I think a lot of us in Nigeria have similar stories.
Yes.
Some of us, I used to think my parents were very rich, but
Hey,
a certain
that's
at a certain stage in my life, you just found out that they're not rich after all. They're just managing, or something just happened.
Or they're living in debt. They're actually borrowing to.
So how do you prevent that from happening? And you've seen stories of people who say that they didn't go to school because their parent went out of job and all of that. How can you stop that from happening to your own kids? It's by planning education insurance. So how do you do that practically? Let's say I want my child to go to a convenient university and I want to start saving for the education of that child. What I would do is I will find out how much is Convenient University paying now. Let's say Convenient is paying for 3 courses, for medical science, for engineering, or maybe another one in finance. Let's say the average school fees is 2 million per annum. For a 5-year course, that will be 8 million. For a 5-year course, that will be 10 million. Right? So I take that 10 million, I scale it 10% every year. My child is 1 now. She's going to enter university at age 15. So I have 14 years to save. So I increase that 10 million by 10% every year. The assumption is school fees will increase 10%. Sometimes it may increase 40%. It is better to just have that figure for the purpose of planning. So whatever the figure I arrive at the end of the 14 years, I take that figure to an insurance company and tell them, I want this amount as the guaranteed sum I will get after 14 years of savings. They will tell me what to pay annually in terms of premium. Then I continue to pay it. The good thing with insurance is, let's say you've done 3 years and the unfortunate happens. In Nigeria, we like to say, and your enemy. It's not you, your enemy. And your enemy dies. The good thing with insurance is they are still going to pay the lump sum to your beneficiary. Trust doesn't work that way. Trust, the same method. After you've gotten the amount, you start to contribute into the trust. And your trustee invests the money on your behalf into low-risk assets, T-bills, commercial papers, and all of that. Whatever interest they get on it is what they're now used to. Let's assume the same scenario, that person dies after 3 years. But now, the person runs or owns a trust. What happens? It means the education of the child is limited to the value in that trust. So it may now be a question of, we can't afford Covenant. Is it Unilag we can afford? Let the child go to something. So those are the 2 ways that you can save for your kids' education.
I think this is so important because when we talk insurance in Nigeria, people say they are using the blood of Jesus. They have the blood of Jesus as their insurance and all that. But it's very important, and this is one aspect that people really shy away from. Like I remembered sometimes in April, I had a fatal accident. And it was me and my husband. It was just the 2 of us in the car. My kids were at home and it was late in the night. And, it was such a traumatic experience because after the whole thing happened, God just saved us that we came out. I just came out with a scratch on my hand here where my ring was. The ring actually bent, but my hand didn't break, nothing. It was just a scratch. My husband had a scratch on his hand and all that. But after we got back home around 4 a.m. the following morning, and we just hugged our kids. And in my mind, being the finance person, I'm like, so what would have happened if at that point we both lost our lives? God forbid. What will happen to our children? And it just made me, yes, I know I have savings for them, whatever for them, but right now it's not even sufficient enough to be able to cater because they are still kids. What would happen to them? And then I just immediately after that, I started the education insurance fund for them.
Excellent.
Because I'm like, hey, God, I don't want these children to, I'm the first child. Everything is on my shoulders. And if I'm now not there, what now happens? So it's important. Why I'm sharing this story is because it's important for us to have insurance in Nigeria. It's not something we believe in, but it is very, very important. Thank you for answering that.
Thank you.
Another question I have is, how do I plan for retirement in Nigeria? So on Saturday, I was at an event with disabled women, and I was talking about planning for retirement. Then they're like, are they supposed to plan for their retirement by themselves? What of the one government does for them? And so I would want you to answer that in line with, how do you plan for retirement?
Okay.
And the government retirement and your individual retirement plan.
The way retirement works in Nigeria, right, there is actually a pension fund that is mostly managed by private organizations like the Stanbic IBTC Pensions of this world and the rest of them. So when you get employed, your employer is supposed to pay a certain percentage and you pay a certain percent. And that is paid into that account for the length of years that you're working for.
Exactly.
Right. However, so that is called statutory pension. But there is the voluntary component that a lot of people do not take advantage of. Right. I teach tax, and I see that that is one of the ways that you can cheat the government. You know, there are two key terms I want to explain. There is tax evasion and there is tax avoidance. Tax evasion is an offense. In fact, you can go to jail if you are caught. But tax avoidance is not an offense. You can avoid tax. So how does it work? So in Nigeria, the law allows you to take a portion, a sizable portion of your income and pay it into voluntary pension. Let's say I earn 500K from my employment and my tax is 50K. And anytime I see my pay slip, I'm always upset because am I paying this government 50K? I'm just giving the government 50K. They're not doing anything with my money. I don't want to pay them 50K. I don't want to pay them more than 5,000. That is possible. All I just need to do is take a portion of my income and pay it into voluntary pension. Because voluntary pension is tax deductible, they would deduct it first. It is the balance that is going to now be taxed. So a lot of people don't use that vehicle of voluntary pension. It's very important. So you can use, alongside your statutory pension, you should also use voluntary pension for your retirement. Another thing that is also very important is creating a good mix of portfolio. You know, let your portfolio have different asset classes, right? In the course of your career, you need to have that discipline of, you know, I call it standards that guide your life. You know, there's this something that we Christians say, that song, favorite song, I'm no longer a slave to fear, I am a child of God. But something we don't know is we are no longer slave to fear. It means that you're now slave to something. You are now slave to boldness. You are now slave to righteousness. You are now slave to something. So you should have standards that guides your life, that you become slaves to. Right? Example of what I do. 50% of every money that comes to my hand, over and above my salary, is investment. Sarah, you like me so much. If you dash me 1 million like this, bam. Before I think about tithes, before I think about anything, 50% of it goes in. And I've been doing this for 5 years. Religiously. So people say, how much you have this much money in this and you're getting 1 million from there, 1 million from there. I've been doing this in 5 years.
It's not overnight.
this start on it. And I don't buy a Ashwebi. By standard. When my mom was going to bury her father, my mom, she called me and the conversation was, the Ashwebi is out. We know that you won't kuku buy. Would your wife buy? I said, that's our own conversation. Call her to ask her. So when you set standard for your life, your respected people, your loved ones will come to respect those standards. Because a broke man cannot help other broke people. You need to be financially stable or be in abundance before you can help other people. So use the vehicle of pension. Use the strategy of discipline and creating standards around your income. Create a mix of those asset classes: low risk asset, medium risk asset, high risk asset, and be given to learning. Right? We don't know everything. You would always learn every day.
Thank you so very much. I'm learning a lot myself.
Thank you.
Plenty. So the next question is, what should I consider before taking a loan?
The first thing is consider your own income.
Okay.
Right? Can you afford it? Number two is, what is the utility of that loan? What do you want to use it for? Look at the repayment. Right? Ideally, the repayment of a loan should not go beyond 33.3% of your salary. So if you're earning 500K divided by 3, the repayment should not be more than that. Right? And also consider the length of time. The longer the duration of that loan, the higher you pay. in terms
Yes.
of
Interest. Yeah.
interest
Yeah.
to the creditor. So you want to consider these things.
Okay. Thank you. The next question is, how can I invest in Nigerian tech startups? I'm really interested in how you would answer this question because
Interested, that is.
I'm a startup too. And then most times,
Tech. Are you a tech
yes,
startup?
yes, I'm a tech startup.
Oh,
And
excellent.
most times it's tech startups are very what's the word I want to use? They're very high risk.
True.
That's what I want to use. So,
True.
how do you invest in tech startups in Nigeria?
First off, investing is called investing as an angel investing, venture capital, private equity. All those three levels of investment is not for people that are still struggling. You need to have money because in venture capital, right, there is a rule that regulates venture capital. It is that if you invest in 10 businesses, 8 will fail.
Okay.
2 will succeed. But the 2 that will succeed will more than enough compensate you for the 8 that failed. A good example, I know someone who invested $80,000 in a startup company and exited 5 years later at $2 million.
Wow,
Right?
that's a lot.
No investment. Low risk, medium risk can pay you that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But you need to understand the risk that you are getting into. So if you want to start investing in startups, you need to understand that it's high risk investing. Right? You must have settled low risk. It means you have enough assets in low risk. You have enough assets in medium risk. Then you are willing to take chances with the surplus for high risk investment. So you can join some angel investing network. In Lagos, we have Lagos Angel Investing Network. We have a lot of venture capitals in Nigeria presently that are looking for people that are willing, that have money to invest. They are constantly looking for people to partner with them. So you can join a venture capital. You can join Angel Investing Network. I'm sure in Abuja, there is Abuja Angel Investing Network as well. There is London Angel Investing Network. They are everywhere in the world. So you can join them and invest because they have a checklist. You don't have that. You're not a professional. So they have professionals that will check the business of people. So let's say you want to start on a small scale. You want to start investing your 50K, 100K, 200K in small businesses. What are the things I recommend? The first thing is draw up a checklist. What should be on your checklist? Number one, the account of that company. You want to check that that business has an account. Record is kept properly. You want to check the governance. Who are the people leading that company? You want to check them, their capacity or their capacity and all of that. So those are the things that you need to check. Of course, what is the vision of the company? Do you even have a vision? Where are they going? And all of that. But you need to keep it at the back of your mind that it's a risky venture. You may lose your money, right? But it is something to try because life itself is risk.
Thank you. But I think for me, the most important thing I got from that is not a sermon, but the most important thing I got from that is if you want to invest in a startup, you have to have money.
True.
It's not for those who are looking for money, it's for those who already have money. Thank you for that. The last question is, what are some guidance on money market investment you would like to share with us? Some guidance. I want to start investing in the money market. You've spoken a lot about it. So how do I start? How do I start this journey? What do I need to know to begin my journey in the money market?
Okay, first off, you need to get across to people that are called fund managers or asset management companies. All major banks in Nigeria also have other businesses. Some of us don't know. We think that the only business of a bank is to receive deposit, give loans. That is commercial bank.
Yeah.
But we also have other divisions of the bank. An average bank would have 5 different subsidiaries. They will have asset management, they will have trusteeship, they will have commercial banking, which is the one that we're familiar with. They may have insurance, they may have stock broking, and all of that. So if you want to open your money market account, you go to the asset management division branch. Don't go and ask a commercial banker like a teller or customer service. Someone said, because of this money market thing, I went to my bank and I asked the customer service. They said, open a fixed deposit. It's better than money market. Sadly, a lot of them do not have that understanding. Yes, right? So you need to go to the asset management division, Google it, right? Open the account. It's very seamless. You don't even have to go physically to them anymore. A lot of them have apps that you can sign up on the app, upload your details, and that's it.
Amazing. Thank you very, 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 very much. Thank you very much for being here and answering our pressing questions about money. So how do we get to reach you in case we have questions, we want to consult with you, or what do you even do? We forgot to do that introduction.
Okay. Yeah.
So if you would kindly introduce yourself and how we can reach you in case we have questions and all that.
Okay, so if you have questions, please reach out to me on my Instagram handle at Shady Assistant. I'm also on TikTok, Personal Finance with SDA, on Facebook as well. On LinkedIn, if you're a professional, you can also reach out to me there. I have several platforms and I'm always hands-on to answer your questions, right? And I'm a financial educator. I'm a business consultant as well. So any business related issues, I'm your guy.
Thank you. So you can follow me on all my social media platforms at Rich Auntie Finance, on Instagram, on Facebook at Rich Auntie Finance, on LinkedIn at Sarah Amana, on my personal page on Diaries of a Rich Auntie. And you can subscribe to my YouTube channel at Sarah Amana. Okay, so thank you for staying with us. See you in the next video where we answer more of your pressing questions about money. Don't forget, this is Wealth Diaries with Rich Auntie. See you on the next episode. Thank you.